Welcome back to another RSMF update. In this video, I'm going to talk about what's new in Message Crawler, what I've been up to. This is not like a feature guide or anything like that. This is more a generic update, like of just random things I've been doing to an application, some bug fixes, little features here and there. This is not like a guide how to use it. This is if you're a current user and you just want to know what I've been up to lately. Let's talk about it. All right, so first thing you'll notice is we are on version 2.2.2. I'm treating version numbers like they used to be treated in computer software, so version 2 is a major update, which this is from version 1.0. Next decimal is a new feature being added, and the last a bug fix. So we're in the second bug fix of the second version of version 2, which is what this software is. So this is how I'm going to be changing version numbers. So if you see 2.3, that means a feature was added, and if it's 2.2.3, then it's a bug fix. Speaking of bug fixes, I did find a little bug. This is something I overlooked, and inside the RSMF file format, there are dates that are stored twice. One is stored in the email header, and the one is stored in the message conversation body. And those dates are used differently by relativity. So the first one right here is RSMF begin date. This is the one that gets extracted by processing engine, and then it gets stored to a field that you need to map called RSMF begin date, end date, and the message count. So these are all three that you can map when you process in your RSMF files. And one thing I didn't notice is this does have a time zone, which I forgot to put. So now I am putting that in there. Now the funny thing is, for our event, we also have a timestamp. However, this one is a little different, and this one doesn't have a timestamp. And this one is being read by the viewer itself, not the processing engine. So there is a bit of a difference how these two dates are being handled. And I forgot to put a time zone in the header. So if you were extracting that metadata field, and if you wanted it, it was shifted by a few hours, which again wasn't too big of a deal, but it's been corrected. Next thing people asked me is to move fields around. So I enable that feature, and you can do it. So you can drag and drop to move fields around. It's not great. I mean, it works. But it's not like that awesome where you grab it and it's like a big box. You know, the grid control isn't as awesome. So I'm planning to make additional improvements to the grid, so you could possibly like hide fields and move them easier and so on. But what I find for me is I actually don't need that functionality because I have big monitors, and I think it's actually better to use a bigger monitor, so you could maximize this window and you could see way across and you could see all the fields, and you can just work with this data more efficiently than trying to kind of move around or hide things. But again, that's me because I have a big monitor. So if you like remoting into a data center and you remote into remote into remote and you wind up with a tiny little window, yeah, it'll be helpful for you. So I'm planning to do some more work on it. But now you can drag and drop fields. So it'll make it easier for you to take your sort date, put it next to real date, and kind of analyze it. Next thing you'll know is in version 2, I generate a license key a little differently. The reason is I need to get unique machine ID to license the software, and with so many variations of computers as well as VMs, my licensing module wasn't working for some people, so I changed the logic. And if you're an existing customer, just let me know that you've downloaded most recent copy, and I will send you a new key for the remaining of your license. So, and next I have fixed the bug where we had a conversation identifier. Message Crawler did not like having this field to be number only field, which I had somebody who had that. Message Crawler was trying to format it as a date because that's kind of what it really likes doing, because this is kind of assumed that you're going to be breaking it up by day, which they did not. So now, or a few versions back, that's been fixed. So that's been fixed. You can have a number only conversation field. The next thing people were asking me is, how do I deselect a field? And well, you right click on a header. I know I need like a text box somewhere to tell you that right clicking on the header deselects, but I'm trying to reduce number of things I have on the screen, not to put too much stuff, and then I don't know if it was that important. But anyway, that's how you deselect. You right click on the header. Next, group identifier and conversation ID blank values. So whenever we have group identifier populated to bag attach, so the way Relativity likes to do it is a bag attach populated for every document. And the way Law likes to do it is it leaves those values blank whenever there are no attachments. So I made sure that both ways are properly supported. Message crawler didn't like blank values, so it is okay with them now in the group identifier or bag attach field, as well as in the conversation field. So blanks are okay. Attachment fields no longer required. You can deselect them and you'll be fine. You're not going to get any error messages. So if you have your Slack data and you're doing like an investigation and you don't want to load attachments just for the speed purpose, because you just want to read the text and search, you can unselect these and you'll be fine. And next thing I have here, I started working on Oxygen Forensics Relativity exported that file, and Celebrite Legal viewed that file. So these early features of this implementation, they work. I have clients who use them. However, there are lots more fields, and I'm still testing it more just to make sure I get all the information needed pulled in, as well as I noticed that Celebrite may give you different fields based on what data you export in. So if your text messages had no attachments, it'll skip some of the fields, which terrible idea in my opinion. You should standardize on your field list and just always export it and leave it blank. If it's not there, don't just skip it. So Oxygen Forensics Relativity that file export and Celebrite Legal View export. This is what I'm currently working on. It works, but I will probably be adding more fields to it and kind of working with a few clients who are using it to see what they're looking to get out of that file, if there are more fields and so on. And finally, I added one more tool called Create Record Type, which just generates this record type field called message or attachment. And I feel like it's easier to visualize your data when you have it like this, as opposed to just looking whenever your group identifier is the same. This is not easy to kind of spot and look at. So that's what I added. Anyway, those are updates for Message Crawler version 2.2.2. Yeah, if you're not on it, go ahead and download it. It's got lots of cool stuff going for it. Let me know what you think. Features, suggestions, bugs, whatever. Let me know. I will see you on the next RSMF update.